So let's talk about, so you've made a decision, you want to go in and see a doctor, you know, is this going to be a big deal? How does it work? Well, this is how it should work. So you just call up, you make the appointment. The appointment's free. You don't pay to see anybody. You know, it's a free consultation. So some offices will have you see what's called a consultant. That's a person that's hired by the doctor, and they know what to look for. And usually they're pretty good at figuring out if you're a surgery candidate or not a surgery candidate, how many grafts you would need, how much it would cost. Now, the way we usually do it, I usually try to see all the patients that come in, all the new patients that come in. And the thing that you want to do is, they're put in a nice comfortable room like this. It's a non-stress setting. There are not a lot of people in the waiting room, so you don't have to worry about seeing your best friend there or your high school buddy. So it's very discreet. We're in a very nice neighborhood. We're in Chicago, so a lot of people are like, oh, I'm not going to Chicago. But you will get on that plane and go to Turkey, and we'll talk about that later. Chicago, we're in a very nice neighborhood. Nothing's gonna happen here, but people are gonna say hello and goodbye and have a nice day. You come in our office, it's beautiful, you sit down, you don't wait long because I'm not a waiter. When I go places, I'm not gonna wait for anything. So you're not gonna wait either. You come in, you'll be met by a nurse or a doctor. Then the nurse or the doctor will get your medical history. And what we're looking for are things like major illnesses. Like, are you healthy? Are you unhealthy? Because if you're not healthy, then we will not do a hair transplant. I can tell you that right now. So somebody who's not healthy is, what we consider not healthy is uncontrolled disease processes or strokes or history of severe heart problems. That's what we consider unhealthy. Or you're on lots of medication controlling a lot of things. Because it's hard to defend if somebody gets sick after a hair transplant that they really didn't need it in light of all these bad medical things going on. So we usually get that out of the way. Then I will come in, I will meet you, and we will discuss your history of your hair loss. Because as I said before, 9 times out of 10, it's hereditary, but there are a lot of things that you do in your life that can speed up that hereditary process, like stress. Stress is like putting lighter fluid on the fire. It'll speed up the hereditary process. Sometimes wearing too tight of a headdress can speed up the hereditary process. COVID can speed up the hereditary process. Any disease you have can speed it up. But what we need to do is figure out why you're losing hair, because if we don't give you a diagnosis, how are we going to treat you? So somebody has to give you a diagnosis. Everybody that comes in the office is not losing hair for the same reason. And usually the consultants are not trained enough to know what the diagnosis is. So my job is to go in the room, make the diagnosis. Why are you losing hair? What are your options for treatment? And are you a candidate for hair surgery? Because a lot of people, when they come in, this is the first person they're seeing for hair loss. So once we determine what's causing it, then we figure out how we're going to treat it. So the examination is easy. You don't have to, it's not like going to the hospital where you take off your clothes and all that stuff and I'm looking and probing. You just sit in a chair with a comb. I wear these glasses and I can see down at your scalp at the things I'm looking for. The whole exam probably takes 15 minutes. And then I'll tell you, to my best of my ability, why I think you're losing hair, and given your age, what you've done in the past to help it or hurt it, what medicines you've taken to help it or hurt it, or whatever you've done to help it or hurt it, then we make a decision on what we do.